Before I start off this video, I just want to thank everyone for enjoying my previous Drag Race video. That did really well, but I just wanted to let everyone know that this is more of a variety channel that talks about things that I enjoy. And yes, Drag Race is just one of those, but I do plan on doing things like Legendary, and as you can see from my previous content, gaming stuff as well. Well, gaming and music stuff. The main video for today is just talking about my thoughts on the cast exactly, especially now that episode 2 has come out and we have been able to see everyone. I would like to drop a few things for the cast as well as giving my own thoughts. And a lot of my opinion has been formed by not only watching the episode, but has also been formed by seeing things like sibling watchery, the pit stop, seeing other YouTubers that have also talked about the episode and sort of gauged what people think of each queen. But I also wanted to talk about where I could see each queen going in terms of the edit of the season and just sort of determine how far they may go altogether. Now, if anyone remembers from my previous video, I did say that I already had a preconceived idea of who the top 4 were going to be. I will leave those 4 till the end because I feel like in my mind I've already seen them at the end. So I want to talk about everyone else who I can see sort of building that story around. So I think the first queens that I want to talk about are actually 2 queens who I feel like are going to roughly get maybe the same edit, and that is Xunami Muse and Hershii Liqcour-Jete. And I don't really know what it is about these 2. It's something about when queens come in with already a preconceived name or someone who has been on before, they generally don't do well. And I don't really understand why this has been the case. Like, we saw it with Kahana, we saw it with Dahlia Sin. I don't really know what it is. And not to say that some people have been a part of bigger houses or have had house names and have gone far, because Candy Muse is someone who has done that, but I really don't know what it is. I just have a feeling that one of these 2 is not really going to do very well and maybe go home first. I'm not really sure, because it's for Xunami Muse, my biggest issue with her on the show so far has been that there hasn't been a whole lot of substance to her other than her being a model, and she definitely has the face, but I mean the talent show wasn't very entertaining. I thought her outfit was fine. I didn't think it was anything crazy, and I also understand that this is the first episode. A lot of these queens probably don't want to show off what their best thing is right away, especially for the category of reveal yourself on episode 1. But that's my thoughts on Xunami. But now for Hershii, I personally really like Hershii's drag style. That little chocolate dress, even though Michelle was oh, the length of it was bad, I don't know, I liked it. I liked the librarian cut thing, and I loved the choice of the glasses as well. I mainly just put her down here because I had a lot of questions during her talent show of what was the idea behind the costuming for it. As someone said on Sibling Watchery, she looks like she's dressed up as a UPS driver, but it didn't really lean in to the talent at all. I don't know. I feel like for Hershii, I feel like there's some details that she may find funny, but actually don't really read well to the people looking. So I think that is something that may possibly affect her going into the competition. But either way, I do feel like these are 2 queens. I really like them so far. There's no one in the cast who I dislike. I feel like everyone here has done pretty well in their first few showings. Next up is Mirage. Honestly, you see the promo and I saw the entrance look, and at first I wasn't interested. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't interested, and I wasn't liking what was being served to me. It was not a dish that I was very excited for. And then we got to the talent show and the runway of the episode, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm pretty impressed. The talent show I loved, and Michelle said something about it being, it's unpredictable and it was likely to change every time someone had seen it or every time she would perform that number. I really don't know what Michelle was talking about, because when I saw that, I was like, I don't know, that seemed pretty concise to me. She clacked her heels to the beat. Is that not what she came here to do? I don't know. To me, Mirage kind of killed it. I don't really know what Michelle was talking about, but I also feel like there's probably bits that may have been edited out. But I read somewhere that they do the talent show twice, just in case there are any slip-ups, like what happened with Pheromone. If that's the case and she was like, oh, it's slightly different, then okay, I can see that being the case. But honestly, I think Mirage should have been in the top, in my opinion. But in terms of her trajectory on the show, I don't really know how I see Mirage doing. I think she will do okay. I think she'll like survive a few episodes, but I don't see her getting past the halfway mark. Also, in case I haven't said this already, I am not doing this any particular order. Like, I have a list here and I'm sort of looking at who I want to speak about like first. And next up on my list is Megami. Now, Megami is a queen who I was, as soon as she explained her name, I was so excited because I love the SMT franchise. If you don't know what that is, that's Shin Megami Tensei, which is, if you know Persona, Shin Megami Tensei is just a much darker Persona. And if you don't know it, you should definitely look into it because it has some great storytelling. Getting back to the queen. I liked the entrance look. I just wish there was a little bit like that could have been done with that. But otherwise, I really liked it. I really liked what she had on the runway. But the talent show, I really can't wait to see what she brings. I sort of see her in a similar way to Mirage, where I feel like she's going to be around for a couple of episodes. I was really big on her being like the video game sort of cosplay queen, and I just wish she had done something more in line with that as a talent as well. I just wish that I could see a little bit more of what she is in general. The next queen I want to sort of bring up is Q, and sort of a similar thing to Mirage. I wasn't expecting much from Q when I saw the Meet the Queens, and I was intrigued, I must say. I really liked it. I liked what Q brought on the episode. I wasn't a huge fan of the entrance look. I know that a lot of people thought it was like one of the best entrance look that they had seen. I just don't think it was my style. I just don't think it was for me. But in general, I think she had a great episode. I feel like what Q presented was great, but I wasn't living for it. And it's just because those sort of acts where it's like more comedy based like that, I just wasn't a big fan of the medium she did it through. And so personally, I think it should have been Mirage in the top instead of Q. But there's no doubt that what Q brought has been stunning so far, and I have no doubt that she is, I could see her going close to the end, honestly. She seems like she's going to be great in acting challenges. She seems like she's going to be, you know, great in like the ball challenge and all that, like naturally. Yeah, I don't really know what could take Q out unless like the competition just gets to her. I could see her being like maybe top 5, top 6. I could see her really getting far. Next queen on the list is Mhi'ya Iman LePage. I'm gonna be honest, I don't have any faults. Naturally, you know, her talent show was good, but I really have no faults on her so far. I'm gonna say I loved her promo outfit. That hair, I love a big hair like that, like, because especially like since when Simone did it, I've loved those sort of like structured and like built hair pieces. Do I see Mhi'ya going far? I honestly feel like her in the lip syncs is going to be what saves it. I feel like she's going to be one to watch. She's going to be a joy to watch because she seems like she has the rhythm, she has the movement. Her runway package as well on that first episode, or episode 2. I don't know, I didn't care for it myself, and it seems like she may, like when she did the little reveal as well, it seemed ill-timed, and I do wonder if she may have an issue when it comes to maybe pacing herself. But I also think that is going to be something that she may learn during the season, and who knows, she may end up being like a comeback queen. I feel like she's probably going to be one who maybe doesn't have the best performance in the beginning, but it probably will start to pick up in a couple of episodes. I probably see her just getting maybe just over the halfway mark. Then we have Amanda Tori meeting. I don't know what it is about Amanda. I think it was something that Kimchi said.
But you know, I kind of loved it.
Did you?
I did. I feel like this is kind of like what Drag Race has been missing in the late seasons, because everybody is like so polished, and I don't mind someone that's kind of like funny and hilarious and a little bit unpolished, because I feel like that's also part of like the drag world, you know?
It doesn't feel like not only the queens, but it feels like even like production doesn't really respect Amanda or expect her to do really well.
I think Amanda's drag looked hideous. I'm so sorry to the Drag Race audience for having to witness such a goblin.
And yes, she has had some questionable makeup.
Okay, this is the full realized look. Yes, I'm very good at makeup. I'm considering going on television.
I would like to say that Amanda will do well, but I also do feel like the odds are a little stacked against her. I can see her being an early out, maybe in like the bottom 5. I don't know. I like her. She seems really funny. In general, I just think she's going to have an okay showing. But I think there's a big load of potential for her story as a whole, because she could have an Electra moment from like Down Under where she wasn't quite as polished as the other queens, but there was just something about her that was so endearing. I feel like Amanda could have that sort of storyline. I think it would be a shame if they cut Amanda really early, because I do think she probably could learn a lot from a lot of the queens on this season. Next up is Geneva Karr, and similar to what Trixie said, I don't understand if the name is a reference or if it's like a joke to something. Usually when you see people who really rep for a country as hard as she did in that first episode, they don't do crazily well, and I'm not sure if that's something that's just for the show, if that's like a queen thing. Drag Race has a history of not really being very good to the Latinas, so I personally see her being an early out, but that's just because of preconceived notions and previous things that have happened. I kind of like her so far. I was really into her first reveal runway. I was actually pretty into it, and I really like the way that she paints her face as well. Next up we have Plasma, and I have no thoughts on Plasma. I feel like she's going to make about halfway. I almost get like a Jan feeling from her. I get a Jan feeling, especially from her talent show, where she just seemed so eager to just show off what she could do. It sort of negatively affected her performance, because people wanted to see her do either the impressions or the singing. And yes, while she was good at both of those, within that talent show sort of format, it did feel a little disjointed. And I honestly think she has a good sense of fashion. That look on the second episode, I really liked. I have no doubt that she will do decently. I would probably say this is one of the queens that I am the most like questionable about, just because we haven't seen a lot from her, and you'd think that that wouldn't be the case considering like everyone has had pretty much the same exposure. I honestly don't know what kind of talents this queen may be hiding. Her and Geneva Karr could be in a very similar situation when it comes to, like I said before, both repping for Latinas. The runway was kind of boring altogether though. I have no idea. Morphine is a little bit of a enigma to me. And then I think that just sort of leaves the top 4 prediction that I had. I'm probably going to do this from who I think is going to be the weakest to the strongest in the lineup. The weakest for me is going to be Dawn. Honestly, I think Dawn presented quite a bit on the episode that she was on. I think we've seen a little bit of her personality. I think she's going to take the competition seriously, but not in the sense of trying to win, but in the sense of just trying to have a good time. I think Dawn's going to be a fan favorite because Trixie fans are going to love her. I liked the outfits that she showcased, but I didn't love them. I kind of felt underwhelmed in the first episode. I do like what she's presenting, and I do feel like she's going to present even stronger looks altogether. Next up of the my top 4 is Sapphira Cristal, and the reason why I sort of put Sapphira here is mainly because of the situation with the Runway. I thought her Runway was good, or at least the beginning of it, and I didn't like the second reveal, and I didn't really care for the third reveal either. And as said by other people already, the breastplate was just way too small, and I don't know if that was intentional. It didn't seem like it was until the lip sync started, and then she did that split and that thing was just bouncing on beat. So I honestly don't know. And like, Sapphira seems funny. She seems like she knows what's going to be funny to some people. So I wouldn't be surprised if she said, oh yeah, that was all part of it. That was part of the gag. But like I said before, she has an attitude that just sort of radiates winner. There's just something about her that is like very interesting to watch. I have no doubt that she's going to be pretty good when it comes to runways. I just feel like this may have been the weakest runway for her. But yeah, I have very strong opinions on Sapphira, and I do think she's going to do really well. Next up and second is Plain Jane. Damn, what an entrance. Plain Jane really said, I'm going to play the game, and I'm going to play it exactly how a bunch of these people have said that they've wanted to play it for ages. I love that. I love a ruthless winner. I see Jane going all the way. I feel like she's going to pull out all the stops, and I will say a couple things. It was very Jimbo. The whole burger finger routine, I do think, because, you know, I also do look at the comments of some of these videos and what people say as well. I do feel like a lot of people have mentioned that, you know, had a queen of color had done the same thing, she probably would have been getting like hate messages. While I do agree that if Mistress had done this, I do think there is a conversation there to be had, but I don't know if it's to be had about the fandom in general. I do generally find that, because, you know, the people who will come and find this and watch this, you know, we are the fandom, so I'm not sure if it's fair to say that a large majority are, you know, racista. I do think it is a conversation to be had about how certain queens may or may not be perceived. And then to finish it off on who in my mind is a guarantee to make it to the end of the competition and be in the top 2 is Nymphia Wind. I mean, just look at the talent. Look at the talent. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. She's silly, she's fashionable, and she just seems like someone who's like, the competition could be going a certain way or not that well for her, and she's just having fun. I feel like her and Dawn are going to be like sort of like best buds in like the competition. I am a little bit worried because I feel like maybe she may not be able to, like, for example, for acting challenge, yes, she can act silly, but I wonder if it may be too over the top. I also wonder if she may reserve herself to, in a similar vein, Plastic Tiara, where she may hide behind like a accent. And I don't mean that saying because she already has an accent, but I mean, like, if someone asks her to do a character that's funny, she then believes that the only way to be funny is to then do an accent. Alright, I'm getting out of here because most of my energy lately has been on job searching and trying to find something for myself. So I just thought I'd put this together for y'all. I'm out.